Today is kind of a ramble video about a few theories and concepts from PokeTubers such as Dr. Applesauce, Twice Baked Jake, and Kira, all people who I enjoy their content very much, but there's a few things that I disagree with or at least want to push on a little bit. We're going to talk about GameStop raising their price way higher than MSRP. We're going to talk about voting with your dollars. That's something very popular with Applesauce and Twice Baked Jake. And then we're going to talk about, whether or not the kids will feel nostalgia for Pokemon with all the people buying it up, because the kids will never have cards to open now, therefore will never feel nostalgia. All of these things are repeated quite a bit in the PokeTube community, and I've always looked at those three things like, I don't know about that. So I figure I'm a dude with a camera and a following, so I'm going to share my opinion. I think that's my new saying. So the GameStop thing. Twice Big Jake just posted a video about GameStop raising their prices. Don't mind the illegal dog ring behind me. Dr. Applesauce has made a ton of videos about GameStop, and the general consensus with GameStop and other places is vote with your dollars. Basically, don't buy stuff over MSRP. The game stores will go, oh, darn, we'll lower the price because of supply and demand, and then the prices will go down. And I find that financially illiterate, not like in an insulting way, but it just doesn't make any sense. Because how would this really go? So you've got all the game stores selling boxes at $250. And, you tell your audience, hey, if we vote with our wallets, they'll have to lower the price. Okay, so let's say in a magical world, every Poke investor, Pokemon trader, collector, whatever, they listen to this video, all 10 million of them, and they all stop buying cards. Everyone just stops. They all vote with their dollars. It's done. In response to that, GameStop and other stores do indeed lower the price to $160. Now what? Everyone that voted with their dollars is going to see, oh, I can get this for $160, and then they're all going to rush in to buy it. But the problem from the very get-go was there wasn't enough product in the first place, so all the people who voted with their dollars and then rushed in to claim their prize of the booster box at $160. Well, now they all have a booster box, but there's still a shitload of people that don't. And so the people that get one, a lot of those people go, oh, well, I bought it for $160. I can sell it for double the money. I'll sell it. And then the whole market just starts over again. We all wait for MSRP. And then it actually happens. The game stores actually react to the revolt that these YouTubers are trying to start. Okay, it goes to MSRP, and then what? You get to buy it at MSRP because you started the revolution, or is it do we all pick straws? Do we go, okay, well there's 5 million boxes at MSRP, there's 10 million of us. Let's pick straws. Let's play rock paper scissors. There's still not enough product, and the problem will still keep coming. The only factor in making this work is in Pokemon's hands. Pokemon printing to demand, printing more product. That's literally the only factor that matters. GameStop is doing better than ever. GameStop has never been in the news more than with the TCG. The last time GameStop was getting this much press was the GME meme where everyone lost their freaking marbles on Robinhood and then literally lost their marbles on Robinhood. And along with the free press, they've got these instant digital packs that are going viral and everyone's throwing down $1,000 to get a $500 card. You've got people selling cards to GameStop for way under market, and GameStop turning right around and they're doing just fine. And if you boycott them during this MSRP, fiasco, they probably don't really care. And that's how the market goes. The market in general, Pokemon and not, it's selfish. And I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent, but the truth really is the American capitalistic system, and a lot of other countries as well. I'm in the United States, so I can only speak for my country. We are built on selfishness. That is the blood of the country, is selfish self-interest. It is the invisible hand. That's what we learned in business school. And, consumers are part of the problem, which I say problem with tongue in cheek because I think it's what makes things work. For example, everyone wants GameStop and others to sell at MSRP. And they want that because MSRP is lower than the market price. Well, I promise you, when the market price is lower than MSRP, you're not going to go support GameStop and pay $80 more than you could pay on TCG Player. It's just not going to happen. And that's fine, because it would be completely irrational to go to some LGS, GameStop, Walmart, PokemonCenter.com, it would be irrational. It would be irresponsible with your money to pay $161 for a box that costs $110, which it will happen probably sooner than later, where boxes are back to where they used to be. We all want what benefits us right away. YouTubers clamoring for a revolution to hold onto your wallet, they want the price to go down, but nobody's thinking what happens when the price goes down. It's going to be the same thing. It's a big circular, ever-revolving door of greed and selfishness, and that's what builds this country. Being honest. Now, the next topic I wanted to cover was something I hear from Kira a lot and from other people in the PokeTube space, and that's the concept of if all of the scalpers and Poke investor bros are buying cards and hoarding them now, and there's none available in the stores, the kids won't have anything to be nostalgic for, and Pokemon will die because the kids that are 10 now, when they're 25, they're going to be like, oh, I never got Pokemon cards. I don't know what this is. I guess I'll play Yu-Gi-Oh because I got those. I understand the concept. I get the concept. The problem is those same people and any other rational human being, including myself, knows that this crazy market is destined to fail. There is no way in hell it's going to continue the way it is. Pokemon is leaving money on the table. They're not going to completely destroy the economy of Pokemon cards, at least on purpose. But I'm sure they are printing. They've made several tweets and whatnot about them going, hey, we're trying to keep up with the demand. We're printing more and more. They've been releasing new EX boxes. They've been throwing restocks of ETBs left and right. Yeah, they get scooped up by the market immediately, but they are trying, and at some point they will succeed. And it's probably not going to be that long from now. So the concept of, kids not getting cards now and therefore not feeling nostalgia for it in 10 years, I just don't think I think that's a little hyperbolic, personally. Like, if the kids can't get cards in 2025, they're going to get cards in 2026. They're not going to go a decade without ever seeing Pokemon cards. And it's like a lot of the current collectors, these same YouTubers will criticize a lot of new people that are buying cards right now that we just entered the hobby 5 years ago, 3 years ago, a year ago when things got trendy. None of us bought Neo Genesis. None of us bought Team Rocket Returns. None of us bought Holland Phantoms. I mean, if you look at the number of cards printed, a statistic that gets thrown around all the time by all the YouTubers is it's something insane. Like 60% of every Pokemon card printed was printed in the last 2 years. It's something like absolutely bonkers. I think like last year we printed 12 billion cards, and the first, 10 years of Pokemon, it was like half that. Someone please comment in the chat. So the idea that the current Pokemon fans are buying cards because they're nostalgic for cards from 10, 15 years ago, it's just mathematically impossible because they weren't buying cards 10 to 15 years ago. If they were, there would have been way more cards printed. So I'm personally not concerned that a bull market that lasts 2 or 3 years is going to hijack the minds of today's kids in 10 years and go, oh, I never got Paldea Evolved. I guess I'm never going to buy it because I don't feel nostalgic. I personally don't believe that. There's just so many kids involved with the hobby in ways other than TCG. One thing Twice Big Jake says a lot is the TCG is actually a very small part of Pokemon's overall portfolio. It's one of the smallest. I think plushies, toys, and figures, I think that might be number one. Video games are a huge one, obviously. That's how most of us got into the hobby, was video games, for being honest. And then there's the anime, and they got a theme park now. They've got an airline. At least airplanes and an airline. So Pokemon, it's too big to fail. And, if kids can't get cards for 2 years, I think it'll be okay. And by the way, who's to say that the people in their 30s aren't going to want cards in 10 or 15 years? People would be like, well, yeah, but then you'll be old. You'll be 45. You'll be 50. It's like, aren't we old now? We get so much criticism for being like grown men in a kid's game. Well, guess what? Grown men probably spend more on cards than the kids. When I go to Collecticon, I see grown men the majority of them are grown men, and some of them have children as an excuse to get in. Grown men run this hobby, for better or worse. So the idea that, grown men in their 40s are going to be less likely to buy Pokemon cards than grown men in their 30s. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of maturity that's going to happen in those 10 years. 10 years of maturity, it's pretty obvious when you're 10 years old or 20 years old, sure. But 30 years old to 40 years old, 40 years old to 50 years old, I'm not worried personally. I think there's going to be plenty of boomers or boomer aged millennials buying Pokemon cards in 10 to 15 to 20 years. I mean, why wouldn't there be? And, even if the theory is true that today's 10-year-olds specifically won't feel nostalgic for Paldea Evolved, okay, well, today's 8-year-olds will be 10 in 2 years, and in 2 years, I think it's a reasonable statement to make that Pokemon will become very affordable again, and then today's 8-year-olds who are 10 in 2 years, in 10 years when they're 20, they're going to feel plenty of nostalgia for, Mega Evolution 14 or whatever the hell they bought when they were 10. So yeah, obviously I don't have a problem with any of these people. These theories are not something I'm passionately angry at. I've gone through the drama phase of the week. We already went through the anger drama, and I just wanted to get my opinion out there on these concepts that people throw out, because to me, they just don't hold a lot of weight. They're kind of nothing burgers, and this video is going to be a nothing burger to a lot of people, but you're watching, so there you go. Speaking of that, though, there actually was one more thing I wanted to tack on here, just as far as things to ramble about that I find silly on YouTube. The idea that like drama content on YouTube is worthless and horrible and people should just avoid it, I disagree, and I point to, as Nostalgianomics will always say, facts are facts, or data is the data, whatever. And the data just doesn't really suggest that drama content is bad for channels or businesses for that matter, because it seems like the only people that comment are, well, they're factually watching the drama content because they're commenting on it. And if you look at like my videos, for example, Nostalgianomics videos, Team Rocket Joey's videos, he's a great drama guy. If you look at their video views, the ones where they're calling people out or making a hot take or going on some kind of rant, like those have substantially more views than just the average piece of content. If you have I think Catch 'em All Collectibles, he had an experiment where he did thumbnails. You can do an A/B test on thumbnails. And so he did half of his thumbnails with green arrows and half with red. And I don't think that information's come out quite yet. He teased that in his last live stream, but I am guessing that the thumbnails with red down arrows performed quite a bit better than thumbnails with green up arrows. People don't actually like good news. That's why stupid trash TV is so popular. That's why you're watching this video right now, because in the thumbnail, I alluded to Kira and Twice Baked Jake and Dr. Applesauce, and you're like, oh, Pokey, and he's gonna go off on these people. Like, that's why you clicked it. A lot of you thought like I was gonna start some rap beef with these three people. I like these three people. They're great people. I just throw them in there to prove my point. Like, people like that, and the data backs it up. When I make some video about business content, no one cares. There's like 2,000 to 5,000 views. When I make a video with Kira in the thumbnail, I bet this video gets 10,000 views. Easy. And that's why people do it. So voting with your dollars, so to speak, voting with your views, ironically, that actually would help. Voting with your views does help. If you truly didn't like to see this content, like drama content, it would disappear. Your algorithm is a direct reflection of you. Meta and Google know more about you than you know about you. There's so many comments that are like, why does this leprechaun Seth Green, Timu, whatever clever things you say, why does he keep showing up on my feed? Because you comment on my videos. Most people don't comment on my videos. If you look at the views and you look at the amount of comments, it's a factor of 10. 90% of people don't comment on my videos. And that's true with every YouTuber. If you look at the views and you look at the comments, there is a fraction of people that comment on a video. So when you comment on a video, YouTube's like, oh my God, he's one of the 10% of people that comment on a video. He must love this guy. Or at the very least, he must watch this guy. So then YouTube will show more of me. if you truly didn't want to see my beautiful face on your feed, you would just stop clicking my videos to downvote them or to comment on them, and then that would be that. But you guys don't know how to do that because you're obsessed with me. You're obsessed. It's actually adorable, and I appreciate it because I get paid every time that you click my video. That all being said, I do have a good business video coming up this week. It's going to be about taxes because I can never have enough tax videos. I've got a lot of tax videos already, but there's some people that don't understand some basic concepts, and a lot of them, they don't need to understand them because they're not business people, but there's a lot of people who are starting a business, or they're recently in the business world and they're starting to make money, and they're going to want to know about some basic tax principles to at least get them started. And obviously, I'm going to recommend, hey, talk to an accountant, talk to someone has proper licenses in this field. But I hope to get people pointed in the right direction. That's kind of the goal of the business videos on this channel. So I hope you learned something today. Buy myself at Pokeandy.com, and let me know what you think in the comments.